Ever been scrolling online and, suddenly caught an emotion that wasn't really yours?
Uh-huh.
Maybe laughing hard at some video when you're completely alone, or feeling, I don't know, a bit sad or angry from reading posts.
Yeah, definitely. That feeling, it's what we're talking about today. Digital emotional contagion.
Right. And that's what this deep dive is all about. How these feelings spread through all that user-generated content, or UGC, online.
And why it matters, especially for e-commerce psychology. It's a really interesting intersection.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to sort of unpack how emotions travel through, well, everything people post online, reviews, videos, social media updates.
And we're drawing heavily from Mohammed Tefekapan's article on this, Emotional Contagion in User-Generated Content E-commerce Psychology. It gives a great overview.
Okay, so what are we covering? We'll look at the science, what's happening in our brain.
And the factors that make some stuff more contagious emotionally than others.
Yeah, and how it maybe differs between platforms like TikTok versus Facebook, or even the device you're using.
hmm We'll touch on what this means for businesses, too, and creators, plus some of the ethical stuff that comes up.
Because understanding this can really help, whether you're selling online or just trying to navigate the digital world yourself.
Exactly. It's about connection, really.
Okay, let's get started.
This is e-commerce psychology, powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.
All right, so emotional contagion in digital spaces. Let's define that a bit more clearly.
Sure. So basically, it's the idea that one person or group can influence how others feel, sometimes consciously, sometimes not. Like catching a mood almost.
Like yawning, one person starts.
Exactly like that. It's fundamental to how we interact face to face, smiling back at someone. But online, the scale is just
It
massive.
really amplifies everything.
Totally. And there's data suggesting up to 70% of people say their mood changes after being on social media.
70%? Wow.
Yeah, and often it matches the kind of the general feeling of the content they just saw.
And this happens within UGC, user-generated content. So for e-commerce, what does that include?
It's basically anything customers create. So social media posts about a product they bought, reviews on Amazon or Yelp, forum chats about brands, even unboxing videos on YouTube.
So all that stuff from real people, not the brand itself.
Exactly. And there's just so much of it. Think about YouTube uploads per minute, Instagram stories. It's a constant flood.
And that's why it's so powerful for spreading emotions, right? Because it feels genuine.
That's a huge part of it, yeah. We tend to trust peer experiences. Now, the article mentions a few theories behind this. What were they?
One was primitive emotional contagion. Sounds pretty basic.
It is, really. It's our automatic tendency to mimic expressions, posture, even tone of voice without thinking.
Oh.
And that mimicry can actually lead us to feel the emotion ourselves, subconscious stuff.
Like you tense up if everyone around you is tense.
Precisely. Then there's social comparison.
Comparing ourselves to others.
Yep. We naturally look at how others are feeling or reacting to figure out how we should feel. See someone excited about a new phone online. Might make you feel more positive about it, too.
Or see a bad review and feel hesitant. Makes sense. And the last one, cognitive appraisal.
Right. This is about how our own thoughts, our beliefs, our past experiences shape how we interpret emotional content. The same angry comment might make one person angry too, but another might just dismiss it based on their appraisal.
So it's not just the emotion itself, but our interpretation.
Exactly. And understanding all this pulls from psychology, neuroscience, computer science. It's really interdisciplinary.
Okay, so that's the concept.
Yeah.
But what's actually happening inside our heads, in the brain, when we catch these online emotions? Let's get into science.
Yeah, this is fascinating. So when you see emotional content, even on a screen, your amygdala lights up. That's the brain's emotion center.
Okay, so the brain doesn't necessarily distinguish between online and offline triggers initially.
Pretty much. And then you have mirror neurons. These are amazing. They fire both when we do something like smile and when we see someone else do it.
So watching someone laugh online could actually trigger those neurons as if I were laughing.
Essentially, yes. It's like your brain simulates the emotion. And the insula also gets involved, helping us feel empathy.
Right.
And all this brain activity releases chemicals, positive stuff, dopamine, oxytocin maybe, pleasure, connection.
And negative content.
That can trigger stress hormones like cortisol. But there's a subtle difference researchers are seeing. Yeah, some studies suggest maybe slightly less activity in empathy-related brain areas when the emotion is digital versus in person.
Huh. So maybe that contributes to why online interactions can sometimes feel colder.
It's a possibility, yeah. It's one potential factor. And psychologically, there's more going on too.
Like what?
Well, often we catch these feelings automatically while just scrolling, that's automatic processing.
Mm.
We also do the subtle mimicry, tiny facial muscle movements matching what we see, even alone.
Like you might slightly frown reading something angry without realizing.
Exactly. And we pay more attention to emotional stuff. Selective attention
Mm.
makes it more likely to affect us.
And you mentioned before some people are more susceptible than others.
Definitely. Your empathy levels, general emotional reactivity, personality traits like agreeableness,
Mm.
they all play a part.
Right. So it's not the same for everyone.
Not at all. And compared to face, digital is different. We lack those nonverbal cues, tone of voice, body language.
Yeah. Huge difference.
Plus, it can be asynchronous. The emotion spreads even if the original poster is offline. And the scale, the speed, the persistence online, it's just a whole different ballgame.
Okay. So the science points to real brain and psychological processes. What does the actual research, the studies tell us?
Well, there have been some key studies. The big one everyone talks about is the 2014 Facebook study.
Yeah, the controversial one.
Right. They tweaked users' feeds to show more positive or negative posts and found it influenced the emotion in their posts. It raised a lot of ethical questions, obviously.
Definitely. What else?
There were Twitter studies around 2015 showing emotional tweets spread more than neutral ones. And often, positive emotions got wider reach on Twitter, interestingly.
Okay.
And some cross-platform work suggests image-heavy places like Instagram see stronger positive contagion.
That kind of fits the vibe of Instagram, doesn't it? More
Oh.
curated, aspirational.
It does seem to align. And when you look at meta-analyses, pooling lots of studies, they find a moderate but definitely significant effect overall. It shapes the online mood over time.
So how do researchers actually study this stuff? It seems tricky.
It is. They use a mix of methods. Observational studies just watch how emotions spread naturally.
Right.
Experimental designs might, say, show different groups different emotional content and measure reactions. That's tricky ethically now, post-Facebook study.
Right.
Then there's sentiment analysis using algorithms to read the emotion in text. And experience sampling, like asking people their mood via phone alerts while they use social media.
Combining different angles.
Exactly. Often mixed methods are best. Key findings that keep popping up.
Yeah. What are the main takeaways?
Stronger emotion in the content usually means stronger contagion. Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Positive stuff often spreads wider, but negative stuff might hit deeper within smaller connected groups.
Interesting distinction.
Demographics matter. Maybe younger users, more expressive people are a bit more susceptible. Effects peak quickly, often within 24 hours, but can linger.
And you don't even need to interact.
Right.
Right. Just seeing it is enough.
That's a big one, yeah. Passive consumption still leads to contagion. You don't have to like or comment.
Wow. Okay. So if just seeing it is enough, what makes some content really take off emotionally? What are those contagious ingredients?
Several things. First, the valence, positive or negative. As we said, positive often spreads wide. Negative can create deeper, maybe more niche engagement.
Right.
Then, intensity. High energy emotions, think excitement, anger, awe. They tend to travel further and faster than low energy ones like sadness or contentment.
Gets the blood pumping, grabs attention.
Exactly. Format matters too.
Yep.
Video is generally seen as the most contagious.
More than images or text.
Yeah, the hierarchy seems to be roughly video, then maybe images with text, then just images, then plain text. The more sensory input, the more potential impact.
Okay.
And language and framing are huge. Using emotional words, telling personal stories, making it relatable. That all boosts contagiousness.
So a super energetic, positive video telling a story I can relate to. That's prime viral emotion material.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's not just the content. The platform itself plays a massive role.
How so?
Think about the design. Easy like or reaction buttons encourage quick emotional responses. Algorithms often prioritize engaging content, which tends to be emotional content, right? Notifications create feedback loops. Even moderation policies shape what emotions get seen.
So the platform can amplify certain feelings.
Definitely. It can lead to what some researchers call emotional amplification chambers, where certain feelings get echoed and intensified within a group.
That's a great term for it. And what about us, the users?
Individual differences again, empathy levels, how expressive you are, personality traits like extroversion or neuroticism. they all affect susceptibility.
Right.
Some studies hint at slight gender differences, maybe women a bit more receptive to positive contagion, but it's complex. Culture plays a role in interpretation, and interestingly, digital literacy.
Being aware of how it all works.
Yeah, that might actually provide some resilience. Being a critical consumer might make you less likely to just passively absorb the mood.
Huh. Good to know.
And finally, context matters. Emotions spread faster in tight-knit networks. Crises amplify everything. Even time of day can affect reactivity. It's a whole ecosystem.
It really is complex.
Okay.
So we know it differs by content, platform, user. Let's dig into those platform differences more. You mentioned Instagram and Twitter earlier.
Right. So Facebook, with its focus on known connections, seems strong for both positive and negative contagion. That 2014 study was on Facebook showing that direct influence.
Okay, makes sense with friends and family involved.
Right.
Twitter.
Often faster, maybe shallower spread. Positive reaches more people, but negative can cascade really fast, especially during, say, a news event or controversy.
Yeah, it feels very immediate, very reactive. Ugh.
Instagram seems geared towards positive contagion, very visual, often aspirational. Research shows positive posts get way more engagement there typically.
Fits the highlight reel feel. What about TikTok? That feels intensely emotional sometimes.
It really does. That mix of music, fast cuts, close-ups on faces, it's potent. And its algorithm is incredibly good at matching emotional content to receptive users. Very effective for quick, strong contagion.
Like it's designed for emotional bursts.
Feels like it, yeah. Now, think beyond social media, review sites.
Like Amazon reviews or Yelp.
Exactly. On product reviews, like Amazon, negative ones often have a stronger contagion effect. That negativity bias, maybe, we pay more attention to potential downsides.
Risk aversion, yeah, I feel that when shopping.
And on places like Yelp, how well someone tells the story matters. A really vivid emotional description of a meal or service that sticks with you.
True. Forums like Reddit.
You often see an emotional consensus build up. Early comments set a tone, and later ones tend to follow suit, reinforcing a particular feeling within that thread. And across all these, perceived authenticity is key. Do you believe this person's experience?
Right, that trust factor again. What about creative platforms? YouTube, blogs.
They often have really strong creator-audience bonds. On YouTube, the creator's emotions in a video directly influence the comments section emotions. It's a feedback loop.
Interesting. The audience mood can then affect the creator too.
Absolutely. Blogs can have strong contagion through vulnerable storytelling, fanfiction communities, intense emotional syncing around shared interests. Gaming mixes competition highs and lows with social bonding. In all these, the strength of that creator-audience relationship really dials up the contagion.
So each space really has its own emotional flavor. Now, does it matter if I'm seeing this on my phone versus my laptop? Does the device change things?
It seems to, yeah, which is kind of surprising, but there's evidence. For one, content actually created on mobile tends to be more positive.
More positive on mobile. Why would that be?
Maybe the context. Mobile use is often on the go, shorter bursts. Perhaps lends itself to quicker, simpler, more positive expressions. Desktops might be used for more detailed, potentially more nuanced or negative expression.
Could be typing ease too. Emojis and exclamation points are faster on mobile than detailed descriptions.
That's part of it too, yeah. We see different emphasis patterns, more punctuation, emojis on mobile, more description on desktop. But what about consuming content?
Yeah, does seeing the same thing on different screens feel different?
Apparently, yes. Some research suggests stronger emotional reactions to the same content when viewed on mobile versus desktop.
Really? Why?
Again, context might play a role. Mobile often means less focused attention, maybe more susceptible to immediate emotional hits, less deep processing. It's an area still being explored.
So that quick phone scroll might pack more of an emotional punch, but maybe less thoughtfully.
Potentially. And then there's the future. Emerging tech.
Like VR wearables.
Exactly. Wearables detecting biometrics could share emotional states directly. Voice assistants, their tone influences our tone. VR and AR offer immersive experiences, likely leading to much stronger contagion. Even the Internet of Things, smart homes adjusting lighting based on mood. It's heading towards more integrated emotional sharing.
Wow. That opens up a whole new level of complexity
Yeah,
and potential issues.
for sure. Which brings us to measurement. How do researchers actually track and analyze all this digital emotion flying around?
Yeah, how do you measure a feeling spreading online?
Computationally, there are powerful tools. Natural language processing, NLP, analyzes text for sentiment. Machine learning finds patterns in how emotions spread. Network analysis maps who influences whom. These let researchers handle huge data sets.
Using tech to trace the emotional currents.
Pretty much. But you still need experimental designs too. Control groups, A/B testing different emotional messages, longitudinal studies tracking people over time, though, as mentioned, ethical considerations are paramount now.
Can't just manipulate people's feeds anymore.
Definitely not without very careful thought and consent. And qualitative methods are vital too.
Like talking to people.
Yeah, user interviews, focus groups to get the subjective experience, digital ethnography observing communities online. Combining these quantitative and qualitative approaches gives the richest picture.
Makes sense. You need the data and the human experience. So, okay, we understand it better. We can measure it. What are the real-world consequences? How is this applied?
Oh, massively. In marketing and business, it's huge. Viral marketing often explicitly tries to spark contagious emotions, joy, awe, sometimes anger.
Right.
Building brand communities relies on positive emotions spreading. Customer service increasingly focuses on using empathetic language to manage customer emotions. Sentiment analysis is standard business intelligence now.
So businesses are actively using these principles. What about health?
It's a big focus. We know negative online environments can impact mental health, anxiety, depression. But the flip side is online support groups leverage positive contagion, spreading hope, resilience. There are interventions being developed to help people manage negative spirals and positive psychology tools being shared to boost well-being online.
So a tool for harm, but also potentially for healing, socially and politically.
Hugely influential. Political discourse is saturated with emotional appeals designed to spread. Social movements often catch fire through emotional cascades online. Crisis communication depends on understanding emotional responses. Public opinion is shaped by these digital emotional flows.
It really underlines the societal impacts. Okay, given all this, where's the research go next? What's emerging?
Well, technologically, expect more real-time monitoring, maybe personalized tools to help us manage our own emotional exposure online. Better cross-platform tracking. AI and moderation will get more sophisticated at spotting emotional manipulation or harm.
Okay, methodologically.
Hopefully more neuroimaging in realistic online settings, larger, longer-term studies, better cross-cultural comparisons, how does this differ globally, and refining ethical ways to conduct experiments.
In theory.
Moving towards more integrated models combining brain science, psychology, sociology, really understanding those individual differences better, maybe looking at how susceptibility changes as we age.
So still lots to learn and refine.
Absolutely. It's a fast-moving field. But the core takeaway, I think, is clear.
Which is?
That emotional contagion via UGC is a really powerful force online. It affects us personally, it affects businesses, it affects society.
So for us as individuals, it's about awareness. Being mindful of how scrolling affects our mood.
Yeah, making intentional choices. And for businesses or creators, the message seems to be aim for authentic connection, not just emotional manipulation.
Because as tech gets more immersive, understanding this is going to be even more crucial for making the online world a better or at least less harmful place.
Exactly. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener.
Go on.
As AI gets smarter, as VR becomes more real, how is this landscape of emotional contagion going to change? And what new ethical challenges will we face then?
Something to definitely think about.
This has been e-commerce psychology powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.